covering climate, weather, and the industrial enterprise from Penn State Meteorology. Here is Up in the Air.
Welcome to another episode of Up in the Air. The last couple of weeks have been very fun. We had Groundhog's Day, we had the snowstorms that just passed, and we had Valentine's Day.
Yeah, it's been a lot of different holidays in a very short amount of time. A ton of fun. I had a great Valentine's Day. I got to have a big dinner with all of my friends. It was a really fantastic evening. How was your Valentine's Day?
My Valentine's Day was really fun, actually. I was able to go get some dinner with my girlfriend, and we just hung out a little bit, so it was very fun. That
sounds really nice. We have a very full episode of Up in the Air this evening. We have stories on honeybees, the Falcon Heavy, and window panes. All that and more, but first, here's Update in the Air. Within flood-prone areas across the U.S., there are more than 2,500 sites that handle toxic chemicals. 1,400 of these are located in areas of the highest risk of flooding. Rising sea levels combined with more frequent and extensive flooding from coastal storms increase the risk of chemical facilities near waterways. The presence of chemical sites in areas vulnerable to flooding is a holdover from an age where industry near rivers and oceans outweighed the risks of flooding. Chevron Phillips, a plant near Houston, Texas, had spilled 34,000 pounds of sodium hydroxide into the murky floodwaters of Texas in the torrential rain of Hurricane Harvey. These spills show the vulnerability of American coastal industries to rising sea levels and extreme weather. Even as disasters become more and more common, industries continue to build in vulnerable areas. In an interview in late January, Tom Nettler from the Environmental Defense Fund stated that companies need to think carefully about the risks of floods and increased risk from climate change, adding, "We've always done it this way. It's just not working anymore."
Gelatin, a colorful and flavor-filled food, has some health benefits most people are unaware of. Gelatin is made by boiling animal bones, skin, and cartilage to extract the collagen. Naturally, collagen has no color or taste and forms a jelly-like substance when cooled. Hidden in this colorless jelly, amino acids, which combine to form proteins, are essential to the function of several organs, are transported into the person or animal that eats the gelatin. It is true that our bodies produce amino acids on their own, but a majority of the ones humans need have to come from our diet. Amino acids provided by gelatin can be found in other alternatives, such as bones in animals. However, humans usually don't eat the part of the animals that have it, so gelatin is a nice, tasty alternative. Some of the health benefits include healthier skin, improved sleep quality, decrease in joint pain, and an increase in calcium absorption. In gelatin, the amino acid glycine promotes stomach mucus lining, which improves digestion. According to Medical News Today, one study suggests that glycine is helpful in controlling blood sugar and is beneficial for type 2 diabetes. Amino acids also provide the body with energy, making gelatin a fantastic choice for a no-fat, high-protein breakfast companion to start your day.
One day, your blinds could be replaced by windows that soak up the afternoon sun to charge your electronics. A high-tech prototype described in the journal Science in late January switches between a transparent panel to a dark-tinted solar cell at high temperatures. This new dark-tinted crystal, known as perovskite, is the new darling of the solar cell industry. Chemical engineers at Purdue University were able to form these light-harvesting crystals just by cranking up the heat. Currently, the crystals are being tested for viability within the solar energy community. But many believe that one day, this technology could be used in windshields that recharge electric vehicles and keep the parked car's interior cool while the sun bakes outside.
X-rays are commonly known for helping detect internal injuries, but deciding if you need to take a few weeks or months off from work is not the only thing they're good for. Using X-rays, archaeologists have discovered the true beauty of a buried painting from the time of Pompeii, an ancient city that was buried by the 79 AD eruption of Mount Vesuvius, located near modern-day Naples. Discovered in the nearby town of Herculaneum was the painting of a young woman. Exposure to temperature differences, moisture, salt, and other atmospheric agents severely damaged the painting, along with other statues and frescoes. Scientists were able to rediscover the underlying beauty of the original portrait using micro-XRF, or the micro X-ray fluorescence instrument. With this device, scientists can analyze the artwork and without touching it or risk damaging it. It also helps to determine the type of elements in the paint, like iron, copper, or lead. Lorena del Federico, associated with the Herculaneum Conservation Project, believes that techniques like this will be crucial to help preserve the artwork for future generations. Besides being breathtaking, the artwork offers all of us the chance to learn what life was really like back in the day.
Right now, there's a bright red Tesla Roadster speeding through space at over 8,000 miles per hour. The brainchild of billionaire Elon Musk, SpaceX, a private American aerospace company, is revolutionizing space technologies. At 3:50 p.m. on February 6th, the Falcon Heavy rocket was launched for the first time. Essentially 3 rocket boosters strapped together, the Falcon Heavy is the most powerful rocket launched since the Saturn V program that sent astronauts to the moon. Another first of this launch was the synchronized return of 2 of the boosters. This innovation allows for SpaceX to reuse rockets, drastically dropping the price of space launches. Despite only being a test of new technologies, the rocket's payload is expected to circle the sun for millions of years. The Falcon Heavy rocket's successful launch paves the way for SpaceX's ultimate mission of ferrying mankind to Mars. But until then, Elon Musk's bright red Roadster will continue to glide around the solar system, blasting David Bowie's Space Oddity into the void.
Bacteria that was once destroyed through antibiotics can become immune to the drug, making the treatment less effective or entirely useless. The Center for Disease Control considers this one of the most crucial issues to public health. Every year in the U.S., roughly 2 million people become ill due to antibiotic-resistant bacteria. According to the health agency, nearly 23,000 deaths occur each year due to the immediate effects of the disease, while others succumb to complications. Antibiotics generally work by attacking the bacteria's protein maker, known as the ribosome. A study published in the Nature Structural and Molecular Biology discovered a byproduct of the antibiotic APD-SYN, API-137, can stop manufacturing of proteins. API-137 naturally is found in bees, hornets, and wasps, and used to protect themselves from certain infections. Scientists hope to develop a new drug using the similar processes as API-137 does to fight off the disease in the bees. Welcome back to the show.
Now, because of all this Winter Olympics buzz, we have a special feature from Jake Langadike on winter sports.
Skiing, snowboarding, ice hockey, and skating. What do these 4 winter activities have in common, you might ask? These, along with many others like them, are facing an uncertain future, all thanks to rising temperatures and shorter winters. According to the EPA, since 1949, more than 80% of weather stations across the lower 48 have seen more winter precipitation fall as rain rather than snow. This is bad news for resort operators who are seeing ski seasons shrink every year. Snow-based recreation is a nearly $70 billion industry and supports annually over 900,000 jobs. From the Northwest to the Northeast, from the Rockies to the Appalachians, ski resorts and parks are feeling the crunch of warmer winters. Frozen lakes, once popular spots for hockey and ice skating, are seeing their freeze dates going, well, compared to 1905, 5 to 11 days later, thawing almost 3 weeks. And it's not just recreational sports that are at risk. In its 2014 sustainability report, the National Hockey League concluded, quote, "The ability to skate and play hockey outdoors is a critical component of the league's history and culture. Many of the NHL's players, past and present, learned to skate outside on frozen lakes, ponds, and backyard rinks. The game of hockey is adversely affected if this opportunity becomes unavailable for future generations." The NHL also stages yearly outdoor games such as the Winter Classic and Stadium Series, which draw tens of thousands of spectators each and every year. Even one of America's crown jewels, the National Park System, is being adversely affected by shorter snowy seasons. Blue Glacier at Olympic National Park in Washington State, for example, lost over 3 football fields worth of ice between 1987 and 2010. Old Man Winter is losing his grasp more and more, and as the winter season continues to compress, the price snow lovers will pay will be costly. This is Jake Langadike for Up in the Air.
Welcome back to the show. So, Mike, it's been an amazing beginning of the semester, but this weekend is one of those events that I look forward to all year. It's Thon.
That's right. Thon is this weekend, and if I get the chance, I'm going to try to go. But unfortunately, I have a lot of assignments due next week. I have an exam as well. But if I get the chance, I'm definitely going to go. The atmosphere is just so fun, and exciting. I mean, and you're doing it for a great cause. I mean, you're helping all those kids and their families. So if you get the chance, definitely go. Are you going to get a chance to go?
I'm going to be there for hopefully the full 46. I love Thon, and it's going to be an amazing time. I'm looking forward to seeing what it's going to be like inside the BJC. But our student meteorologist, Chris, is here in the studio, and he's going to tell us what it's going to be like more on the outside of the BJC.
Yeah, Vivian and Mike, it'd be a lot easier if I was just telling you what it would be like inside the BJC. But outside, it seems like it's going to be a little warmer than we're used to. But here's your climate info for February 15th. Average high 37. Now, by the end of the month, we get to an average high of 40. So we still have 3 degrees to gain before the end of the month. Average low still in the low 20s, and our record 66. Record high set back in 1954. Record low 7 below back in 1943. Now, we're in a very wavy pattern. When we see wavy patterns, we see extremes on both coasts. So this is your temperature outlook valid for February 20th through the 26th. Most of that below normal is delegated to the west coast, parts of the northern Rockies. That's where you'll see the lowest below normal temperatures. Now above normal, much of the east coast east of about Texas are going to see above normal conditions centered here on parts of the southeast, including Atlanta and Miami. Now back closer to home, eastern Pennsylvania has the best chance of seeing above average temperatures, but here in State College, we will still see above average for this period. And then precipitation outlook similarly for February 20th through the 26th. Below normal precipitation for parts of the west, including California, which is still struggling with some drought out there, and parts of the southwest. But the center of the country is where you'll find much of the above normal precipitation, really centered mostly along the Mississippi River Valley, stretching from about North Texas around Dallas all the way up to Chicago. But here back in State College, we'll see above average precipitation, maybe not as much as parts of the center of the state, and that above average precipitation will really extend up into New England. Now your drought monitor, we're monitoring drought mainly in the southeast, severe drought, as well as extreme drought starting to show up in parts of Arizona. Southern California, not as bad as we've seen, but they're still facing a moderate to extreme or severe drought out there. Now, the biggest drought that we're focusing on is still in the Oklahoma and Texas panhandle. We're continuing to monitor that, but it's really much of the United States is dry. At least some places are seeing at least a moderate drought, and that is the same. That is true also for Pennsylvania, mainly in northeastern Pennsylvania, centered around the Susquehanna River. Now, our snow depth, we saw a lot of snow last week in the northeast, but with warming temperatures, we're continuing to see that melt. But let's take a look out on the west. This is the Sierra Nevada mountains. That's where you can kind of get an idea of what the water conditions will look like for California. So we keep an eye on the snowpack there. Not very impressive so far. Most of the snow depth is really along the Rocky Mountains, but Chicago, parts of the Midwest, also seen a decent amount of snow in the past week. Really just kept hammering parts of the Midwest. Now here in the Northeast, we saw a decent amount of snow last week, but like I said, warmer conditions, we're really continuing to see that melt, and that'll continue throughout the weekend into the early part of next week. So for your weekend, Saturday, mostly sunny skies, more seasonable conditions with highs in the mid-30s. Then for your Sunday, some clouds, but temperatures rising into the mid-40s, and that warming is really going to continue into the middle and end of February, as we saw on our temperature outlook. So bad news with that, it looks like the groundhog, his prediction's not looking too good right now. He predicted 6 more weeks of winter. It's looking closer to an early spring, although winter is not over yet, Mike and Vivian.
Thank you, Chris. Even though it's bad for Phil, it's very good for us. I'm excited to maybe put my coat away a little bit early.
That is true. I definitely wanted a bit warmer weather. I like to wear T-shirts and stuff, so I'm definitely welcoming these warmer weather trends. Although I could do without the rain. I prefer sunshine.
I agree. That's all we have for this week of Up in the Air. I'm Vivian Rennie.
And I'm Mike Sesko.
We'll see you next week, Up in the Air.